Hello, I'm Kyle. I'm the technical content developer at Maple Systems. Welcome to the Maple Systems video training series. In this video, we'll be going over the configurations for creating a custom function block into control software, MapleLogic. We will be creating a custom PWM function block, configure the function block diagram, and then add it to the ladder diagram of the main scan program. The logic will control the speed of a motor and an LED light. Also, to get a better understanding of PWM in MapleLogic, please review the How to Control the Speed of a Motor using Pulse Width Modulation tutorial page on the Maple Systems website before continuing this video. Here is a wiring example. In this video, we'll be using the same diagram as we did in the How to Control the Speed of a Motor using Pulse Width Modulation tutorial page. Please review the wiring diagram on that tutorial page. Now, back in MapleLogic, let's add a custom function block. Over to the left, right-click on User Library and click Add FB. The function block Add window pops up, and then you can name your function block. Then you also have the option to enter a password. So you can enter a password, whatever you like, and then type it in, and then confirm it and hit OK. So every time that you open up your custom function block, you will need to enter a password. In this case, I'm going to leave this blank and not have a password. I'm just going to cancel this, and over here I created a custom function block called PWM_FB. So when you create a custom function block, it is stored in your user library right here. So anytime that you go into this project, you can open this up. You also have the option to import or export a custom function block. Once you create it here, you can right click on the function block and then click export. And you have the option, if you click yes, the function block will be saved to the user system library. So that's down here. That will be stored with the other function blocks that are already in MapleLogic. So that will be stored in your user system lib. So if you click this plus sign, you will see that function block here. You also have the option to click no. So the function block will be saved in a file. So if you click no, you'll be able to save it to your projects directory. The function block will be saved under MapleLogic folder, function block sample, and then FB_item will be the folder that it will be stored in. So anytime you have a project, you'll always have the option to import this function block into your project. And to do that, you would right click on user library and then click import function block. And then you can choose it here and then hit open, and it will open up that function block, and then you'll be able to add it to your ladder diagram logic. So now let's edit our custom function block. So click the plus sign and then double click on variable. It opens up this window. So here is where you would customize your function block. So for this example, we're going to be creating a pulse width modulation function block. We'll need to have a duty cycle, a frequency, and a ramp time. And then I'm also creating a condition to have an alarm if the duty cycle exceeds 90%. Now you do not need to have that, but I'm going to have that in this example. So if the duty cycle exceeds 90%, an alarm will turn on. So to add inputs and outputs to your function block, you'll come down here and you'll click add input. So I'm going to add 3 inputs here. So you click add input 3 times, and then 1 output. So you'll click add output. And then type, you can either have them as words, bits, double words, or float. In this case, we're going to have these inputs as words. The output will be a bit. That's going to be an output coil on our function block. You can see this column here says device. You cannot edit the device until you add this function block into your main scan program ladder diagram. So once you add it into your ladder diagram, you'll be able to enter your device registers here. At this point, you'll just click OK. And now let's go into the program of our function block. So double click program. And here is the logic for our program. We will have an enable contact, EN, as an open contact, and it's going to enable these 2 instructions. And these 2 instructions are to enable the channel for PWM, which is what we're wired into. So this is the PWM enable, duty cycle, frequency, ramp time, and then we also have our compare function here if the duty cycle exceeds 90%. The first two instruction is to enable the PWM channel 4 to H0001 for slot 1, and 0 is the buffer memory for PWM output enable, and H0008 is the hexadecimal for PWM channel 4. To see how to figure out hexadecimal calculations, I would recommend visiting the How to Control the Speed of a Motor Using Pulse Width Modulation tutorial page on the Maple Systems website. H0008 and then 1, which is one word. And then for the other two instructions, the next one is 2H0001 slot 1, and then 13 is the buffer memory for channel 4 duty cycle. And then we're going to use the variable we created in our function block, so duty. So if you double click this is how you enter the instruction: 2H0001 13 for buffer memory 13 channel 4 duty cycle, and then double click duty, and then it'll be brought into the instruction, and then 1. And for the next one, we have 2H0001 for slot 1, and then 1 because we're communicating with channel 4, which is frequency A. So the buffer memory for that is 1, and then you would double click frequency to add it into the instruction, and then one word. And then the last one is for the ramp time. 33 is the channel 4 duty cycle ramp time, and then you would double click on ramp to add it to the instruction, and then one word. And then finally we have the compare function here, so double click this. The way you would enter it in your function block instruction is greater than or equal to, and then double click on duty, and then 90, and that is also here in our function block diagram. So that is all the logic you'll need in your function block diagram. Now let's configure our ladder diagram in the main scan program. So if you exit out of this and then double click on your main scan, really simple. We have an enable bit M01, a contact that's going to initiate the function block here. So we'll just drag this function block into our logic, and then we have an output coil as a complete bit, and we're using M10. So to add the registered devices into your function block, double click it, and then here's where you add your devices. So I'm using D10 for duty cycle, D12 for frequency, D14 for ramp, and Y100 for the alarm. You just double click and enter those devices here. And that's all you'll need to do here, and then hit OK. And then I have the device monitor up here to enter values for the duty cycle, frequency, and ramp. And then I also have that complete bit here for our logic, and also the alarm if that turns on if we exceed 90% duty cycle. So let's go online and let's simulate this live, and we'll enter some values here to speed up the motor, and then we'll also turn the LED light on and off and have it blink. So go to online, link plus download plus monitor. So now we are online, and you can see that there are 0 values in the registers here within the function block. So now let's enter values. So we're going to start the duty cycle at 25%, so enter 25. And then frequency will start at 500 Hertz. And then we'll have a ramp time of 2 seconds or 200 milliseconds. And you can also see a live camera feed of the motor. So when I enable M01, you'll see the motor ramp up to 25% duty cycle in 2 seconds. So shift plus enter. And the motor is at 25%. Now let's change this to 75%. And finally, let's go back down to 0 to turn off the motor. And the motor is off, and as you could see in the function block, you could see those values reflected here as well in your device monitor. Now let's show the LED light turning on and off. So I've entered 500 for 50% duty cycle for the LED light and 1 Hertz for the frequency. And I'm not going to enter ramp time for the LED light, so let's enable this. And you can see the LED light blinking on and off. Let's change the duty cycle to 90%. So 900. And finally, let's change this to 10%, so enter 100. And you can see that duty cycle has changed to 10%. So this is all I'll be covering today. To get more information, please visit the How to Configure a Custom Function Block MapleLogic tutorial page on the Maple Systems website. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.